most awesome day of the week, and you are in for 5 minutes of a commercial-free news. I'm Ms.Phatcharaporn Silakhao. One story we've been following is ongoing violence in Nigeria. About half of the African country is Muslim. Most of them live in the north, 40% is Christian. Most of them live in the south, and since 2009, Boko Haram, a militant Islam group, have been terrorizing Nigeria. They want a stricter form of Muslim religion law imposed throughout the country. And as we reported last year, they've been brutal in their tactics, kidnapping more than 200 schoolgirls. Boko Haram had targeted civilians such as government buildings. Sometimes using children to carry out their attack. Local officials say Boko Haram recently murdered as many as 2,000 people in recent assaults on northern Nigeria villages. President Goodluck Jonathan visited the region yesterday. He is up for re-election in February, and cities say he is not doing enough to stop Boko Haram.
Talking to soldiers here, and what they tell us is a very, very worrying and troubling picture. They say they're being outgunned, outmanned, out-resourced by Boko Haram. When they get on the battlefield, Boko Haram, they say, have big anti-aircraft guns on the backs of trucks. Weapons that are accurate up to 3/4 of a mile. The soldiers say they only have small AK-47s, weapons that are only useful up to a few hundred yards. They only have 60 bullets when they go into battle. Boko Haram, they say, have many more bullets. They put down more firepower. The soldiers, for the most part, are forced to withdraw. The soldiers even have to pay for their own uniforms. They don't have flak jackets and helmets in many cases. So they are being beaten from the battlefield by Boko Haram. Their morale is low, and this is one of the reasons that Boko Haram is able to make the gains that they're making, and that the military's successes are really rather far.
Up next, a later one that could fetch as much as $6,000 when it goes up for action later this month. Why? It involved the Titanic, one of the most famous events in history. Titanic hit an iceberg on the night of April 14, 1912. The ship that was called Unthinkable sank within 3 hours of 2,200 on board. About 700 got to lifeboat and survived. That was one of the postband when the ship went down. There was enough lifeboat for the people on board. But there was still enough to hold just under 1,200 people, so why did only 700 survive? Because their lifeboat won't fill the capacity. One rumor of why hundreds the women who were the later up for action.
It's handwritten, and it is by a survivor of the Titanic. Lady Lucy Duff Gordon. She wrote this letter on May 27, 1912. She's writing to her very good friend that lives in New York, and she begins the letter by saying, "Thank you so much for your care, your concern, because of the disaster that just happened." She goes on to talk about her husband, Cosmo. Lady Lucy Duff Gordon was a very important fashion designer at the time. This was definitely a couple that had a lot of money. And they ended up in lifeboat number 1, and that's where the controversy begins. Lady Lucy Duff Gordon says in the letter that she and her husband Cosmo were the only ones that were asked to testify before the British Wreck Commissioner's inquiry. She also says that after that, the tabloids went rampant, saying that it was her husband that commandeered the lifeboat and the person that was rowing to say, "Row even faster. Don't put any more survivors on board." Now, here are the facts. That lifeboat could hold 40 survivors. The fact of why there were only 12 survivors in that lifeboat and not 40 has never been corroborated. But Lady Lucy Duff Gordon, in this letter to her friend in 1912, says that her husband never got over the rumors, that it affected him for the rest of his life. She says, quote, that he was brokenhearted over the negative coverage for the rest of his life.
We are off Monday for the exam. We will have coverage on that and author headline for you Wednesday. Have a great weekend, everyone.